Hey, this is Brian Hegney, instructor of game design here at High Point University. So this next video, we're actually going to get to opening a door. And the little treat for you guys is that last night when I was making this video, or the preceding 5 videos, I kept crashing the computer with an infinite loop. And I couldn't figure out why, what was going on. And then so I went to sleep. Because it was getting late, and I just woke up and turned on the computer and realized what was going on. So you'll get a little intro to that. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to do, though, is I really want to get rid of these double doors here. I want to have one door slide up. Originally, I was going to have us rotate these doors, but there's a reason why I'm not going to do that in this first video, or series of videos. So in order to do that, well, let's just go ahead and delete one of the doors. It doesn't matter which one. And in the other one, in my blueprint, I'm going to select the door. You could select it in your viewport, you could select it in the default scene root, and I'm going to increase the X scale of that. And you can see it's actually widening in my viewport as I change this in the blueprint. That's cool. And I'm also going to select the collision box because with a wider door, I need a wider collision box. And I'm going to change the box extent. You could change the scale. I just don't like changing scale if I don't need to. And because I can change the actual dimensions of the collision box, I don't need to change scale. I like 1:1:1 scale. If I can get away with it, 1:1:1. The reason why this box is scaled, like, I'd actually have someone model a door so that the scale could be 1:1:1 instead of this weird 3.43.25. Alright, so let's not get too used to this. Changing the scale of things. Okay, let's go ahead and compile that, save it. The other thing you'll notice, let's go into the blueprint now and go into the event graph, is I deleted all of my stuff. We had all of the print strings, like we had all these. I didn't delete the variables, I just deleted them from the event graph. So they're not being used or referenced. They're still all available here. Don't delete those. We could delete them later if we don't need them, but that's fine. I'm going to go back to my viewport. If you deleted everything like I did, you're going to have to come back into your viewport. Or actually, you don't even need to be in the viewport, but I like to be. So I know I'm selecting the proper collision. And scroll down into my details and click on Component Begin Overlap. There we go. Now, I hope this is going to be fun for you. We are going to learn about the difference between two very similar functions. I'm going to right-click and bring them both into the event graph. One is set actor location. And the other is, I'm going to right-click again, set relative location. And as I say set relative, well, let's not get to that. I'm actually not going to do that. We're going to do set actor location. Now, this is the self of the actor. So I'm going to, once I overlap that collision box, I'm going to set actor location. And the new location, right, I'm going to want this to be above myself. So I want that Z value to be tall, right? And I might set that to 500. But here's the thing. If I did this, if I just say 0, 0, 500 because that's raising it up 500 points, you might, or 500 units, you might say, hey, don't do this. Just watch this. You'll see that it actually doesn't work. Oh, let me move my door in between those two boxes there. What happens is it does move it somewhere. Oh, it actually does move it above here. That's great. It moved it up there. Now, why did it move it there? That is because the world location for right here, where is the 0, 0, 0 point? Well, if I take this box and move it around, you can see everything's updating in the location for this particular box. And if I drag it here, you'll see, well, let me just set this box to 0, 0, 0. There's 0, 0, 0 down here. In fact, we can see the grid if we go here. There's 0, 0, 0. That's the center of this entire universe. So when I told the door to move to the location 0, 0, did I say 500? It moves it up there. Okay, that is why. Okay, but we don't want that. We don't want the door to go to 0, 0, 500. So if you're doing this, if you're doing it like this, sorry, let me just raise this up and tap the end key. It should drop it down. Why aren't you dropping it down to the floor? There you go. Okay. Normally, if you take any object and kind of move it around and you have it selected and you tap the end key, it will drop it down onto the top of the surface below it. In this case, the floor. Okay. So I might say, you know what? This door, this entire blueprint is at location -540, -20, 170. So I want my X and my Y to be consistent with where it is. Those of you who are programmers, you already know there's a problem with this, and we will get to that. Don't you worry. This is really designed to be super intro. Whoops. -540, -20. Now if we do that, -540, -20, then 500, compile that, save it, play it, it does go above me, but here's the problem. Oh, the other thing you'll notice, sorry, I didn't show this to you. I selected my collision box in my blueprint, and I scrolled down to rendering. Where are you, rendering? And I clicked unchecked hidden in game. If it's hidden in game, if that's checked, it's default checked, because you don't want to see your collision boxes. I unchecked it because I wanted to see my collision box, just so that you could see that the collision box goes up. Now here's the thing, if we want the door to go downward when we leave the collision box, well, the collision box traveled with it, because the function we said was to bring the entire actor up, and the actor contains all three components: the default scene root, the door, and the collision box. Now what's going to happen when I walk through this one? Okay, now the other blueprint raised above itself. If I look up, will I see the door? Yes or no? No. Why don't I see it? Okay, for those of you playing at home, do you know? What about this one? Will I go through it? If I look up, will I see it? Yes? No? No. The other one did. Now, why is that? For those of you who don't know yet, the reason is because I told in the programming, in the scripting, whenever I go through one of those collision boxes, when I enter into it, it's going to put that in a very specific location. And that specific location for every single door is -540, -20, and then 500 up above here. So every single one of those doors traveled to exactly this point. And that's not what we want. When we want to build a blueprint that functions, we want to make that door teleport to a specific location above itself, right? We want the door to open here, just like in Star Trek. They'll kind of like raise up, raise down. That's what we want. So how do we do that? Let's go in here. Back to our blueprint. Number one, we don't want to use the set actor location. This is where we actually want to just change the door. Now watch this. I'm going to take this door, drag it into my scene, and drag it here. But guess what? We can't place a static mesh component into this, because this target, the target for this has to be a complete actor. And this door is not an actor. The blueprint is an actor. So what can the door do? I'm going to drag out a node from this door, and I'm going to type set relative location. And that's what we can do here. So instead of setting the whole actor blueprint, I'm just going to set this door component. That's the only thing that's going to move. And in this case, where does the door live within this blueprint? 0, 0, 200. And let's actually take a look at that in the scene. This blueprint, if I select it, it has an XY location, as we looked at previously. This X location is -540. The X location of BP door or BH door underscore BP3 in the scene is 160. So this one's at negative 540, this one's at 160, and this one's at 60. They each have their own different XYZ location. But in the details panel of our interface, I can select the door for this blueprint. This door is located at 0, 0, 200. Those numbers should look familiar to you. They're exactly the same numbers as I select the door in my blueprint window, 0, 0, 200. And in fact, every single one of these door components in every single blueprint is going to be 0, 0, 200. 0, 0, 200. And that's called a local coordinate system. That is completely within the blueprint. So if you want this door to be 300 units to the left in the X direction, you could do that by that. And now that blueprint's door is in a different XYZ, but that's its relative location to the center of the blueprint. I'm going to set this back to 0. So that's what we'll be moving. And we are going to say its new location, its new relative location is going to be 0, 0. I don't want it to move left or right. I want it to move upwards. Let's just say 700. And so now when I play that, I'm going to look up, and there's the door. Now look what else changed. Something else great happened because we only moved that component of the blueprint actor. The collision box stays exactly in the same spot. Now I can go through it. If you want, I could double click this and add a new thing. I'm going to select the collision. I'm not going to go back to my viewport. I'm going to select my collision box, scroll down here under details and say on component end overlap. And I'm just going to drag this out and say print string, and I'll say end overlap. And that's just going to print it to the screen just so that I can see us doing something there. Now, actually, it says end overlap before we end overlap. So that's interesting. But now every time I end it or leave it, it's ending overlap. You can see that. And that's why I wanted to just move the door and not the entire blueprint. Now, what's going to happen when I go through this door? Anyone? Okay, if I look up, will I see the door? Or will it be over here? Is it overlapping that door? There it is! Okay, this should make you feel good. All right, so now all of these I can go through. Now, the trick, the reason for leaving this box down here, the collision box, is so that when I leave this collision box, it's going to set the door back down. This is actually what got me into trouble with the infinite loop, so we will go over that in the next video. All right, bye-bye.